What's good, everybody? It's your host, Jay Real. We're back on the Real Talks podcast with my good friend this time, who's also a fellow 10X business advisor and coach inside Cardone University. And I'm going to do a quick introduction, and we're going to have my friend Kyle talk about his journey as an entrepreneur, business owner, and ultimately how he became a 10X business coach and advisor. And at the same time, we're going to pick his brains because he's very knowledgeable when it comes to entrepreneurship and how to scale a business as well. So nonetheless, here we go. We're going to introduce my friend Kyle Baxter. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, Jay. Hey, I appreciate you having me on, man. I don't get to see you enough. I think the last time we talked, we ran into each other in Arizona at the Finance Essentials
Oh yeah.
workshop. Thought it was great.
Yes,
Like I said, I
sir.
don't get to see you enough, but
Awesome,
maybe
man.
that'll change soon.
Oh no, we definitely don't see each other enough, Kyle. But obviously, I have a huge respect for you and what you've done so far in this business. But obviously, my audience, I just started as a podcast host, and they probably don't know who you are just yet. But let's talk about your background before you became an entrepreneur and became a business owner, and then becoming a 10x business coach and advisor. So please share your story with our audience.
Okay, well, Jay, it all started. I'm an ex-military guy like you. I spent a little over 10 years in the United States Army.
Who
I'm a
up?
retired airborne ranger and a 7th Special Forces guy, 18 Bravo weapons guy.
Yes, sir.
It was a Ranger team, jumped into Grenada in 1983, first combat jump since World War II. I
Wow.
mean, it doesn't matter to a lot of folks, but a lot of military guys can relate to that and know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And then Iran Contra, which, depending on
Wow.
the age of your folks listening, I was an advisor and I worked directly for Colonel Oliver North, a Marine Corps jarhead, which I used to give a
Wow.
hard time to people. I love the guy,
Yeah.
utmost respect. So I did that, came out of that, licensed electrician, worked that for several years, and then ex-wife, we moved up to the fine state of Michigan. I call the coldest state in the world,
Uh-huh.
other than Alaska. I'm gonna tell you, snow and woo.
Oh
Thank
yeah.
God I left that place. But I got into manufacturing. So I was in automotive manufacturing for probably 16 to 17 years. Worked on the floor the first 6 months. After that, got into leadership, was either supervisor or manager and that stuff. Stayed in it. Did that, like I said, about 16 years. Got tired of it. I got tired of working for somebody else. I want to go on my own. I want to
Wow.
be in charge of my financial situation. When you work a W-2 job, and I'm not knocking anybody that does that, people have
Right. Right.
to, but you're limited. You got that glass ceiling. Whereas if you're an entrepreneur doing your own thing, you control your life. And I have people say, I got to have a job, got to have job security. Guys,
Right.
only way you have job security is work for yourself. You work for the other guy, the business goes out, you're done.
Done.
Whereas
Yeah.
if you're a business owner, you control, you can make more money, you can make less, you got a little more control,
Right.
contrary to popular belief. So I did that, and when I got out of the manufacturing, I bought a little convenience store. God, I
Oh.
should have brought a picture for you. It was the ugliest store you'd ever seen.
Oh.
If I'd have showed you the picture the day I bought that, and then a year later was night and day. So I'd had it for about a year, and I'm looking at my financials, and I went, dude, this is not going to work. There's not enough
Yeah.
money. I
Yeah.
got to do something else. And of
Right.
course, I didn't have the knowledge then that I do now, or I'd
Right.
own the whole Midwest.
Right.
But I
Right.
didn't. So I expanded 2,500 square foot one way, another 10 foot the other way, and expanded, put in a full deli,
Wow.
sold food, roasted chicken, stuff like that. Pulled the wife out of her job, and she ran the deli. And we did a lot of catering. That's where the money came from.
Yeah.
So it was pretty good. And, I grew the business about 1.5 million. But I'll tell you what, there wasn't a lot of money. You'd think
Right.
it was, but it's not, because I didn't do the research. I
Ah.
thought I had, I didn't. Because years ago, in the convenience store type market, those type of stores, you had a profit margin of 35%. Well, it's
Yeah.
not. Today it's about a 10% margin. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Didn't know
Wow.
it going into it. And that's why it's so incredible. And the knowledge, as Brandon says, you know what you know what you don't know. And then
Right.
what you don't know, you don't know. That's
Right.
what kills business,
Right.
because we don't know. And we got
Right.
to put the ego in our pocket sometimes to realize that and go and get the knowledge.
Wow.
So we did that, and we ran that business about 13 years. Kind of got burned out, because what I did, since I didn't understand scaling and the proper way to grow, I just
Right.
got burned out. Me and the wife
Right.
both. So I told the wife, I said, look, got a new wife, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Great. great one. And it's kind of funny. It's not anything slight towards my ex-wife. She gave me two great kids. I don't hate her,
Yeah.
none of that stuff. Still love her. But I tell people I married the only Southern gal in the South that couldn't boil water. She carried me to the coldest place up north and divorced me. Of course, we got married too young, all that stuff. But anyway, and then I end up marrying a shelf and bring her back to Georgia. So, I think I won.
Nice,
But
nice.
did that. So I told the wife, I said, look, we're burnt out. I'm fighting the state of Michigan because the state of Michigan is not business friendly, never have been. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
several years, 25 years ago, but they're just not. Most of the businesses stop in Wisconsin, the other side of the lake, or
Mm-hmm.
Indiana because those states are more business friendly. So I
Yeah.
told her, I said, look, I'll make a deal with you. I could tell she's a little burnt out, and I totally was. I said, I'll sell this place on one condition. She said, what's that? I said, I hadn't been home in 30 years. She
Mm.
said, let's go. So I came back to Georgia. So I
Nice.
came back here and I got back into sales. I sold life insurance. I brokered in 3 different states. That wasn't bad. And I was started getting in my real estate career going up in Michigan. I probably had 3 single families and a 3 unit. And I
Nice.
sold all those but one when I moved back to Georgia. And of course, if I'd known then again what I do now, I'd have probably kept them. I'd still had some more passive income coming in.
Yeah.
But I did that. And then I get back and I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do for a job? Well,
Mm.
the only thing I was really good at or knew was manufacturing. And I swore I'd never
Yeah.
go back to manufacturing. Well, I did. I returned right back into it
Mm.
and got tired of it again. So kind of played off of it, went back to real estate full time. And I got tired of using hard money and stuff to find deals.
Right. Right.
So I went back to manufacturing thinking, hey, I'll just take all my pay from manufacturing and I can use that to scale my real estate business. Instead of using
Yeah.
hard money, I can
Yeah.
pay cash for properties, all that. Well, the problem came in. It didn't quite work out my way. I
Mm.
worked for manufacturing, but they kind of dictated my times. I didn't have time to make the dials, find the motivated sellers and that kind of stuff, and the properties, and go look at properties. And so I actually got lucky and got laid off. I'd never been laid off my entire life.
And you
Plant
said you
was getting
got
ready to
lucky.
shut down.
You
Yeah,
said you got
yeah. I
lucky.
took a buyout. They said we're laying off. We'll give you severance. I said I never
Yeah.
heard of that. Real, I'll take it. I
Yeah.
told my boss. I said, dude, I'm gone tomorrow night. You can send my check today. No, I need to keep you. I said, no, dude. You gonna give me money to leave? I am out of here. I said,
Yeah.
it costs me money to work this job. I make more being out of here than it does being here.
Yeah.
So I left, took it back to real estate, and it was going pretty good. And then it was right before COVID. And I had an old HR manager I worked for at another plant call me just out of the blue. She says, hey, where are you working? I said, I'm just doing real estate full time.
Mm-hmm.
She said, well, you want a job? She said, I work for this place, private company. Man, I told the director of operations, the best supervisor manager ever had, worked with, yada, yada, yada. Want to know if I can get you in there money for an interview. I'm thinking,
Mm.
well, I really liked her. I had a lot of confidence in the gal I worked with her. She was just super HR manager.
Yeah.
I said, well, okay, I'll be there. So I thought, well, maybe here's another Danny's. Take that money and grow my real estate.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't quite work out. I did that for about 6 months, and believe it or not, now I'm not ashamed to say I got fired. I've never been fired from a job my entire life.
Mm.
Me and the director of operations locked horns out on the floor because
Yeah.
his lack of leadership. And I thought, dude, I'm not doing this. And that was it. Plus, COVID just come in too, and of course, it was getting a little bit crazy and all that stuff. And so I said, screw it. I'll just do my real estate. I run as hard as I can. In the meantime,
Wow.
I got a email from Cardone Industries, and to be honest with you, I thought it was a fluke. I'm thinking,
Uh-huh.
well, I'm gonna sign up for this call. If
Yeah.
I get Gandhi on the phone, I don't mean that in a race way, but if I get Gandhi from Libya or whatever trying to sell me something, I'm gonna
Right.
get it. So I
Right.
called it, and who I ended up talking to is Elliot. So Elliot says, hey, we got this, Cardone licensee, which is now 10X business coach
Right.
opportunity. I'm thinking, dude, you kidding me? I said, Grant Cardone is offered his brand and stuff to people. I said, what kind of screening are you doing?
Yeah.
I made the cut. I felt pretty good about it.
Right.
He said, well, let me tell you about it. I said, you don't have to. I mean, what do I got to do? He said, well, I got to explain
Wow.
the opportunity. I said, dude, I don't need to hear it. If Grant Cardone is willing to allow me to use his name and his products in the market, I'm in.
Yeah.
It's like a business in a box. What do I got to lose, dude?
Right.
Who
Right.
doesn't
Right.
know Cardone? Grant Cardone, everybody knows him. So we got into doing that, and I was at for about a couple of years, and then was liking it. Had some clients, still learning, growing, getting better at it. And then, of course, we were at GrowthCon. Well, right
Right.
prior to GrowthCon, I have to tell this part of the story too, because as licensees, the old name, 10X business coaches. We're kind of Grant's babies. We kind of, he
Yeah,
treats us a little different than everybody else. We kind of have favoritism, for lack of a better
it's
term.
true. He
Because,
always special, like he always talks about that.
yeah, and the reason I guess we get a little extra is because we're really his legacy. He's wanting to reach 8 billion people. And
Right,
one of the ways to do that with 10X business coach or licensee so he can get out there and touch more people and help them.
right,
So that's how it worked. So, prior to that, we used to get all the inside information for everybody else in Cardone industry knew about it. We
right,
get it for sales guys or anybody. So I
right.
remember him talking about, hey, we have this 10X business advisor thing. And he talked about, I said, dude, I'm in.
Yeah,
What do I got to do? Well, we hadn't got it established. I said, I don't care, I'm in. Sean Conrad had to talk to him.
yeah,
He said, well, okay. He said, well, whatever. So I started talking to businesses, and I had two ready to go in. Hadn't signed no paperwork. And I remember Sean making that comment. Matter of fact, with the growth concert, yeah, Kyle was doing it, and we didn't
right.
sign paperwork yet, and he's already did it because I was fired up. I saw the potential. Not that 10X Business Coach is a great program.
Oh, it
I
is.
mean, I ought
Yeah,
to be your number one sales guy for that because I have so much confidence in that program.
right,
And I'll
right.
get to tell you how I use that now also. But they said that, and of course, I was with you on stage
Right.
last year at the MGM Grand, and I stood on that stage in front of God and everybody. And what I say, I
You're gonna
will
be the best
be
one. Yeah.
the number one 10X business advisor 2024.
Yes,
And we
sir.
come off that stage, and my wife said, I can't believe you did that. I said, what? She said, that was rude to those other guys. I said, baby, I love them guys. They're great. That wasn't a slam to them.
No,
I
not at
put
all.
my butt out there in the air that I don't have an option but to be the best there is. Not, I don't think I'm any better than them guys. I said,
Right.
they're probably smarter than I am, to be quite honest with you. I said, but what happens is I held my feet to the fire. So now every morning when I wake up, it's the first thing I do after I write my goals down. What am I doing today to be number one?
Right. I
So
love
that
that.
keeps me focused and on track. Then might have been crazy to do it, but that's what it took to really get me, dialed in on it. And I
Right.
love doing it. I've been doing it now, not quite a year yet,
Right.
or yeah, not a year yet, and it's going great. It's working good. I love being able, and I know you too, going out and helping these small to mid-sized businesses
Right.
because they need help. They just don't know it.
They just
There's
don't know.
31.5 million small to mid-sized businesses out there today, and you know what? 25 million have one employee, which is typically the owner,
Right.
right?
That's how
And then
I
you got
started.
5 point,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And you got 5.3 million that probably have 3 to 6 employees. And there's only 600,000 that have 12 or more employees. They're the only
Yeah.
ones scaling. And
Mm-hmm.
and what's really sad about this, 2/3 of them will be out of business in 5 years.
Yep.
And then 97% of them in 10 years will be
In 10
belly up.
years. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want that to happen. I don't know you don't either. And
Right.
that's when Grant and Brendan also they partnered up. That was the partnership I would say made in heaven because
Right.
those two complement each other like you would
That's
not
true.
believe. And that was kind of their goal too, was to impact all the small and mid-level businesses that there's no one out there helping them like we help them.
Right.
And we have no competition. I was talking to somebody the other day, said your competition. I said, I don't have any. What do you mean? I said, we don't. Nobody, Nate, I'm not challenging anybody. Tell me one other company that's doing what we're doing for small and mid-sized businesses or not. You've got
Right.
some consultants out there, and I'm gonna tell you, and I hate to rag on them,
Yeah.
but consultants are not going, or they don't know how to grow and scale businesses. I'm sorry, they
No,
don't.
they don't. Yeah.
There's some questions you need to ask us. Consultant, if they say, hey, you made up your business, there's 3 questions you need to ask. One, I'd ask them, what's the largest amount of revenue you've ever made in your life?
Right.
Two, I'll say, what's the largest business you've grown, and quantify that with number of employees,
Yeah.
how much revenue,
Yeah.
okay, and then what was the profit margin? And then
Right.
the third question, I would say, what's the largest exit you've ever been involved in on a company exiting selling their business?
Right.
And guys, if they can't answer that, that's not the guy you need to be hired to help you grow and scale your business.
Right. And a lot of the business consultants, they are hired to be a consultant, but they haven't launched and scaled a business on their own, right? And that's the importance of being a business advisor and what they look for. Somebody who's already been successful, like you and I, that's run a business, have had a lot of experiences in regards to our own internal businesses, our own businesses, and that's how we became business advisors. But more importantly, we're not only using our own experience in our, from previously from our own businesses, but we're utilizing and using Brandon Dawson's brain and how he's able to scale multiple businesses with high profit margin, amazing revenue, and you know basically kind of like growing Cardone Ventures from zero in 2019 to 130 million plus in less than 4 years, right?
I
That
know
is, yeah,
it's crazy. And, that's the exact same format.
yeah,
You and I, plus Cardone Ventures, go in and help these other businesses. We're using the same strategies that Brandon used because they're tried and true. They work.
right.
And you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but
No,
nobody else is doing that. Everybody's using no trial and error method, and most people do it. I did the same thing with my business. Did
right,
it work? You can get by, but it's only going to last so long, and it's going to come crumbling down. If you don't have the foundation in place for that business, I don't care where you go,
right.
you won't do it. Plus, out of that 31.5 million, 98% of those businesses are under the 3 million mark. A
Yeah,
lot of them are under $1 million in revenue. And
right,
that's a problem because if you're stuck at $1 million in revenue, stuck, you're a dying business. You have
right.
got to constantly keep growing. Somebody gets what you're talking about. And I'll give you an example. I talked to a client of mine. They're about 25 million revenue.
Yeah,
And we had a discussion with the husband and wife team. And his wife said, well, I don't know if we're really interested in that because we're doing good. We're at 25 million. I said, you don't understand. If you stay at 25 million stagnant,
you're right.
you're failing
Hmm.
because you got to be growing every year. Here's why: because every year inflation goes up, cost of goods sold goes up, and cost of employees. If
Hmm.
you're not going up, what happens is your profit margin depletes, starts going
Right,
down. And
exactly.
who wants to work at 25 million in revenue for 100 grand a year? No way. It's called burnout. You finally just say you give up and go. You toss
Right,
in the towel, and you
right.
don't have to, because growing and scaling is predictable, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. That's what Brandon's taught us. And I'll give you an example. I had a little seminar I did the other day, and I have a consultant guy out there in my audience, and of course I hear him a little jeering me, in the background, this, that, and the other. And I said, I finally about had enough. I say, hey, you help businesses grow and scale, right? Yes, come on up here with me. What? No, come on up here.
Yeah.
You're a growth guy. I'll get you up here. So I asked him those three questions, dude. And he couldn't answer them. And I
Mm.
didn't do it purposely to embarrass him to prove a point. And I said, you go sit down, pay attention. I'm gonna teach you how. But one of the questions I asked him was, hey man, how many employees do you have? He
Hmm.
said, it was just me and my partner. I said, great. So you're trying to tell me that you know how to grow and scale businesses, but
Right.
your business is only two people. That tells me you don't know how to grow because if you're growing, it takes people to grow a business, and that's what people don't understand. No
Hmm.
single business owner can grow a business. It takes people to grow and scale,
Right.
and you got to have them. And there's a
Right.
proper way to do that, and they don't teach that. The life cycle of a consultant is typically about 9 months. They can come
Hmm.
in, they can fix a few things, and then they're gone. What happens is you run okay. About 2 months later, you go right back to the same old garbage you had when you called them. So now you got to call them back, come back, pay them more money, but nothing changes. That's the
Right.
difference between them and us. We come in and we're giving you strategies and systems and methodologies you put in place. You own. We don't keep it to us. We give it to you and
Right.
walk you hand in hand to show you how to implement it. So you just go, and the sky's the limit. You tell me where you want to go, dude.
That's
If
true.
you have $1 million in revenue, I guarantee you, that's a fact. I'm guaranteeing you, I can get you to 125 million.
Mm. Yeah.
You know, I'm telling you, I can get you there. Now that's
Right.
not off me. No, now the same guy, I had somebody else in the audience said, hey, based off that, he said, well, let me ask you something, Kyle. What was the largest business you've ever grown? I said, I'll be honest, I'm transparent. 1.3 million was that
Yeah.
convenience store. And I said, I know the next question you're going to ask is, who are you to help me grow my business 25 million? You had never done it. That's, well, let me
Hmm.
answer that for you. You're not getting just me. I'm the
Right.
conduit. You're
Right.
getting Brandon Dawson that's done it 15 to 20 times.
Right.
And with the laughs have been 151 million. So, dude, you're not just getting me, you're getting way more than me.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep. It's all. It's. I love how you mentioned that. Being transparent as well. Kyle, I'm very transparent. I let people know, the clients that we're helping, is that, hey, I've grown my business into seven figures, but we're very confident that we can take you to 8 to 9 figures, right? And I always tell them that the same exact thing is that not only I'm using my own experiences, but you're also getting the entire Cardone Ventures team, to include Brandon Dawson, who's sold his last business by I think $151 million, 77 times EBITDA, and that's unheard of in business. To where he's
Yeah,
able
that's a
to,
record. That's a record to this day,
right,
still set on Wall Street. And
right,
realistically, I talked to Brent about it. It was actually more than that, but
hmm
the SEC wouldn't let him say the truth because it'd blow everybody's mind. He was probably at about 180 million,
yeah.
and the EBITDA was probably up to about probably 82, but they could announce that because it's
I
never been
mean,
done.
I
You know
mean,
how
if
that goes. A little bit of politics stuff in that,
for the people
but
to
he knows what he's
understand what
doing.
that means, yeah, for the people who understand what that means, EBITDA is basically your profit, right? After paying taxes, insurance, and everything else that's expenses within your business. That's amazing how he's able to master doing that, and that's exactly what he's doing to help out our current clients within Cardone Ventures, is to help grow and scale their businesses and also have an exit um, into from that business as well. Because I didn't think about that before. Like if I love a business, right? I wouldn't want to exit that, but Brandon made it so simple to where it's important for you to exit a business because of the fact that it could ultimately lead to other bigger and newer opportunities, right? So
Right.
that's pretty amazing, and how he teaches that within, in our system, and it's a win-win for us as business advisors and also entrepreneurs to be part of, you know, Cardone Venture organization. So, and you
Yeah.
said, yeah, you said a key,
Yeah.
a key point is that we have the entire Cardone Ventures team on our back in helping these
Yeah.
clients out.
Oh yeah, and they do a phenomenal job. That's what people don't understand. And and I've had this discussion with a couple of business owners because I know I've been there. When I had mine, that store, I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never
Mhm.
ordered cigarettes ever in my life. I know how to do it, dude. You know what I
Right.
did? I called the guy down the road that had a convenience store today, man. Can you
Yeah.
help me? And he did. About 2 years later, I hated my guts because I about run him out of business. But I didn't know what I was doing. But see,
Mhm.
I had an ego since I was a small fry, not like the big 7-Elevens or Speedways, those conglomerates. I had to fight tooth and nail to try to get somewhat deals to be profitable to run my store. They don't
Right.
give it to the single guy, I didn't know. But, and so a little ways I got where, we're doing okay. We ain't doing great. We're doing okay.
Mhm.
So I get that little ego and people come in and, don't come into my business, tell me how to run my business. Because
Yeah.
that ego, I know what I'm doing. No, I didn't.
Right.
I thought I did. And I think a lot of business owners get that, and a lot of them
Mhm.
are too scared to relinquish control, and that's why they stay in their business instead of pulling out. Build your infrastructure, you hire your people, train them, onboard them, align them with your business so you can pull out and manage your business that way. Because the owner can't do everything.
Right.
Because you do, it won't work. There's no way possible. That's why you got to scale. And
Wow.
that's the
Yeah.
things we teach people, and so is Cardone Ventures. I mean, the whole system is scheduled to make sure you're successful. I mean,
Right.
the only way you can't be successful is just not do anything. Why would
Absolutely.
you partner with Cardone Ventures, invest money, get that knowledge you need, and not use it? I don't get that. But
Right.
I'm sure sooner or later there's going to be somebody that do that. But other than that, I mean, look at our success rate. What, over 2,600 different businesses across all industries.
Right.
And I hadn't seen a failure yet. I've seen them all blowing through the roof. And I'll tell people, guys, you don't have to believe anything I say. Let me show you
Right.
the people, and I give you the phone numbers. And
Mhm.
you call them when you want to, not set time. It's predetermined by me. You call them when you want to and just ask them what they say.
Right.
Especially went from 3 million to 8 million or 12 million in 36 months.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and it's achievable. People don't see it. I will tell you this, Jay. When I was talking about the business coach and the 10x business advisor, I've been running into a lot of businesses
right.
that aren't even at the $1 million revenue mark.
Mhm.
And so I've had one say, hey, I'd like to get you, but I don't think I could forward your, I'm too little for you. I said, no, stop. I said, what's your revenue? Well, I'm at 80 grand. I said, dude,
Yeah.
I'd take you on. I said, and that's what comes in when I put on my 10x business coach hat,
Yeah.
because typically to get to $1 million in revenue, you need to, you'll have your strategy, but you got to master your marketing and your
And your
sales.
sales.
That'll
Yeah.
get you to a million. And then
Right.
from there, I'll just put on the business advisor hat and then you tell me where you want to go.
Right.
So it's kind of two-pronged thing. That's part of the training as a 10X business advisor.
Yes, sir.
Now, also, is you got to go through the 10X business coach training and advisor. So you're well-rounded. You have all the knowledge and tools, stuff you need to take that client where they need to go. And I just love it. I
Right.
can't say enough about it.
No, absolutely, and those are some of the things that I also tell my potential clients and prospects, because ideally for us as business advisors, we want to help business owners that are already making seven figures and above. Typically, our ideal avatar or clients are 1 to 10
Right.
million. But I don't. If there's an entrepreneur that or a solopreneur that's just started that's maybe making 100K, I'll take them on as well and help them get to that seven figure mark, because that, as you mentioned, as one of the key things in order to hit seven figure is they need to be the experts in sales and marketing, and that's what we teach. Also, the mindset, that's what we teach in our business coaching, um, basically our gigs, right, to help these young or basically new entrepreneurs. So I do put on my business coaching hat because there's a lot of business owners, as you mentioned, 31.5 small business owners here in the United States alone, right? So there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that we can help, and a lot of them don't know how to properly scale their businesses and ultimately earning better revenue. That's where we come in, right? So
Right.
that's amazing. I have a question for you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Kind of leading towards when dealing with potential prospects or clients, what are some of the biggest like drawbacks that you see when speaking to these potential prospects? Like why? Like one of the biggest questions they ask is like, what can you guys do for me in my industry, right? I'm sure you come across that all the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. And I've heard people say it. I've heard Brandon say it. And I'm like, well, I don't know, but I've experienced it. Oh, you don't know my industry. You don't know my
Right,
business. Guys, I don't care what, Brandon and Cardone Venture did this research for over 15 years of over 4,000 businesses across all industries.
right,
Dude, there's not an industry out there I can't scale. We know how to do it
right.
because now let me clarify something though. Now we don't treat things as one size fits all. Now that's
Right,
true. We don't do that
right,
because like for the revenue per employee, and that's a
right.
whole different topic we can discuss. It's typically the baseline is 250 to
Hmm.
500,000. Well,
Right.
one of the verticals I'm working real hard in are the HVAC, the flooring, and the roofing
Oh
guys,
yeah, yeah.
and construction, and those guys are not. And I can tell you probably about five or six now that are over 250
Hmm.
per revenue per employee.
Yeah,
But their baseline number would be about 180,000. And here's why: because they're using a lot of contractors and subcontractors and stuff like
yeah,
that. So that differentiates that. Plus, they've got more inventory, to hold, and with inflation, they
yeah.
may buy they don't buy tons of inventory to sit on it because they got to have a job to use it. So,
Hmm.
give you an example. Say the cost of two by fours, or I'm just throwing the numbers, probably stupid,
Right.
or say $4 a piece today.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow or next week, they may be $6. So
Hmm.
that's going to impact theirs too. So it's really hard for them to guide or dial into that 250,000, you know, per employee.
Right.
So there's different things, but still with Brandon's methodology with the break points, there's 7 break points from 0 to 125 million, total of 11 to a billion,
Right.
and that's what people need to understand. At each of those break points, there's 10 elements of scale, and out of those 10 elements, at each one of those break points, some of those elements need to be in place or you're going to
Hmm.
collapse. I'll give you another example. You can be at break point 4 at 25 million, right at the top of that break point. And
Right.
if you don't have the elements in place for doing that, guess what? You're going to crumble and fall. Now there are some businesses that they'll fall back maybe one break point. Well, that's called a step back, and that's
Hmm.
okay. You can regroup and go forward. But if you go back 2 break points, say you went from 25 to 8 million, dude, that's catastrophic for any business, and
Yeah.
you'll never recover. So if you got the basics, the foundation, all the things in place that you need, and these 10 elements need to be done in sequence. You can't do, well, do here, do there. They got to be done in sequence. But people don't know that. Most business owners don't know it. We
Right.
train them, we teach them that so they do know, so they don't have to do trial and error method. We can tell them exactly what to do and guide them all the way through the process. Because we
Hmm.
get past breakpoint 4, for example, the big thing they run into is you're probably on cash basis till you hit 25 million. Well, guess
Yeah.
what? At 25 million, the good old IRS comes in and says, you're not doing cash basis anymore. Now you got to do accrual basis
Yeah.
accounting, which can throw a major wrench into somebody's business. But if you know that ahead of time, you plan for it, then it's a blip. You just keep going. We keep right on going. And that's the things they don't know. And that's why I love being able to explain that to people. And once they get a handle on it, and I ask people, hey, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What would you rather have? Trial and error method, or have a company that can prove what they do, show you how they do it, and guide you along the way? Wouldn't you think you'd have more confidence that you'd be successful, or just do the old trial and error method where you're throwing it up against the wall and see what sticks?
Right. Amazing, man. Those are great information. I have a couple of quick questions as well before we end this because you provided some amazing golden information already. What would you say to a business owner that is on the fence of wanting to, scale the business and how having us within Cardone Ventures help them scale their business? What would be your message to them?
Well, right now there is we've got a demographic change going on because there are a lot of baby boomers, which I qualify as a baby boomer,
Yeah.
that are in the process or at that age that are business owners that are looking to sell their business. The
Right.
problem with that is vast majority of them, and I don't care what the revenue is, because revenue is vanity, profit
Hmm.
sanity. If they're
Yes.
at 10 million in revenue, that doesn't mean they can sell their business for 10 million. It means
Yeah.
on EBITDA.
Yeah.
It's all about value. What kind of value have you incorporated into your business to build it? And so say you got a boomers wanting to sell, but they don't have a lot of value. We can
Yeah.
evaluate that business. And then within say he's got a 2 to 3 year time span before he wants to actually exit, he can work with us, Cardone Ventures, and we can bring in that value. So now when it comes to exit, he's
Hmm.
gonna get a whole lot more money going out the door versus him trying to sell it today. We're gonna have squat. He'll have enough to last him a couple of years. Now he's back broke, gonna get another job.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. And for people that want to reach out to you, you're currently now in Georgia, right?
Right, right.
Right. Where can people find you who's watching this and say, hey, I wanna talk to Cosimo, I want to get a strategy call. Where can they look you up?
Well, you know what? They can either go to my website at
Hmm.
www.bigbulldog.com/bulldog. I had to do that because my CRM handles it.
Gotcha,
The added
gotcha.
bulldog.
Yeah.
Or they can feel free to call me anytime. 770-733-3470. They can get me that way.
And then
Or let's
yeah,
say they can get me that way. Or they can email me. And my
email.
email, yeah, my email's Kyle, Kyle, Baxter, Baxter, at 10xbusinessadvisor.com. And
Awesome.
and you can do that. You go to the website and click on it and set up a
Set up
strategy
a call.
call.
Yep.
And I'm not here to say anything. Let's just talk. Let's exchange some information. And let me tell you. Let me get the gist on what you're at, where you're at, what's going on,
Right.
and let me see what I can do for you. Because I guarantee
Awesome.
you, I don't care what your issues you've got. I can give you a solution. I can show you how to make them disappear. And
Amazing.
you can too. It's not just me, Jay. They call you or me, either one. But
Oh
I
yeah,
guarantee
yeah,
you, we can
yeah.
solve those problems.
Oh, I'm sure you and I both can help all these business owners across the United States. And sometimes, clients prefer the local business coaches, advisors that's closer to them. And you and I are completely, different parts of United States. So there's going to be a lot of people that could be attracted to work with you, and there's going to be people that would be attracted to work towards me. Nonetheless, collaboration is the new currency. That's why Kyle is here on the show with me because
Absolutely.
he has amazing experience and knowledge on entrepreneurship and leadership from the years of experience that he has as well. So, Kyle and I will work together, and our ultimate goal is to help you guys out scale your business. So, nonetheless, you guys heard where you could find Kyle, but he's also on Facebook, Instagram, and also on LinkedIn. So look him up, Kyle Baxter. You'll find him there as well. But Kyle, I know you're a very busy man. I appreciate you hopping onto this call, and I'm looking forward to future success with you into this business, brother.
Hey, you got it, Jay. Like I said, I appreciate you having me on. Give me time to shout because they call me the mouth of the South, the big bulldog.
I
And
love
I've
it,
always
man.
got something to say.
And
But
you know
yeah,
what?
and I'll see you soon. I'm back in Arizona end of the month.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Well, I'm sure we're gonna do another call like this to see where we're at and how many clients we've helped and scaled their businesses. But to our viewers, feel free to follow us. If you think we provide value, we're all over social media, myself and Kyle. And if you found this podcast valuable, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you into the next show. Take care, everybody. Till next time.